All right, we are recording. We are live. How's it going today, Stu?
Oh, it's going good, man. Just living the dream.
Living the dream, living the dream. What are you up to right now?
Oh, I'm actually still working right now. I'm in my truck and working my business, reaching out to contacts and making making the steps that you need to take to achieve success.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That's what it's all about, right? And I mean, the cool thing about this business is that, you're right now you're out driving your 18 wheeler, your truck, and still able to navigate this business from your phone or from a laptop as you're doing your thing, right? So it's kind of amazing because we have such a unique like opportunity in front of us right now where we can leverage like the social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram to kind of create an income around that, in the beginning while we're working, but then eventually making enough money with it where we can kind of just slide right out of that job and full time into that online space. So just to kind of give you some context as to what this is going to be about today, Stuart and I have been working together for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months now. He's a truck driver down in Montana. We connected just through a Facebook ad, and just like how we've connected, right? And Stuart, I'll let you kind of share your story, but I wanted to interview Stuart today because he's been taking his business seriously. He's got some major goals, and I just kind of want him to share his experience so far with you to give you a little bit of insight as to kind of a day in the life of an online marketer and what we do. So I guess the first question I'd like to ask you, Stuart, is what's your background, and did you have any online experience before hopping in with us?
I'll answer the second one first. No online experience other than just email and Facebook. My background, I spent 17 years in retail management, and I did some service management. I did some restaurant management. Pretty much spent most of my working career as some sort of a mid-level manager, and figured out, it took me 17 years to figure it out, that I did not want to be that mid-level manager anymore. You get all the garbage from below and all the garbage come down from the top, and that's really, it's a lot of weight on a person. So, it took me a long time to figure it out. I chose to get into trucking. I've been doing it about 6.5 years or so, and just didn't want a boss with their thumb on me, hanging over me and telling me, oh, this and that. I still have to follow rules and everything out here on the road, and government rules and stuff, but this is temporary. And the income I make now with my trucking job pays for building my online business. So I did like I said, 17 years in the management field, and just had enough of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which kind of leads me into my next question here of what was that line in the sand moment that you had where you decided, like, I'm done, enough is enough, I don't want to continue this life, I want to do something else, I want a better future. What was that line in the sand moment, that kind of definitive moment in your life where you said enough was enough?
Gosh, it was like you said, about a few months back that I saw an ad from you. And my wife and I, we've been married now for 12 years, and every time I would leave to go get in the truck, she'd walk me down the sidewalk, and tears in her eyes that, hey, I'm leaving and going to be gone for a month or whatever, however long it is. And I married her because I want to spend the rest of my life with her, not because I want to spend time away. And that pretty much was my line in the sand. Just seeing her upset, and her having to go and do things and parties and birthdays and do all that stuff without me being able to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can relate with you there too, because my background is in construction. I was a pipe fitter, right? So, I know all about being on the road, living out of a suitcase, living in camps, living out of hotels, and saying goodbye. It always sucks because when you're on the road for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time, the only way to stay in the loop is through either, Facebook or pictures and videos that the wife would send you about your kids. And it's just, there's a better way of living out there. So I think that was kind of, I kind of share that line in the sand moment with you as well, because when you start having kids, you got to start looking at things a little bit differently. And, in this day and age in 2018, there's really never been a better time to start leveraging this digital world that we live in to start creating income around that. So yeah, that's awesome, man, because there's more to living than working at a job that you can't stand and filling up somebody else's pockets, helping somebody else kind of achieve their dreams, right? So did you ever have a moment, Stuart, where you reached out to me on a Facebook ad, you kind of checked it all out, but you were excited, and I remember the excitement, but did you ever have a moment where you're like, man, is this thing even the real deal? Like, is this legit?
Oh yeah. My middle name is skeptical. I've seen a lot of things, and I'm not that old, in my mid 40s, but I've seen a lot of things and heard a lot of stuff in my life, and I pretty much just always heard people say, too good to be true, it probably is, all these things, they're scams, blah blah blah. And to just put all that aside, that's what I had to do here. But I had my doubts, and I just had to get out of my own way. Most people are in their own way. They don't realize they're never going to achieve the things they want in life unless they're willing to take a chance. And this was such a huge thing for us to do together, me and my wife and I. I was so skeptical. I mean, Jordan, I actually told my wife, and we were several hundred miles away from where you live and up in Canada. And we just said, you know what? I was so skeptical. I had to go and meet you face to face. I had to pinch poke you, make sure you were a real human being. And look at a man, honestly. Most men, if they're doing a business dealing or something, a lot of times you want to shake a hand, you want to look a man eye to eye and say, Absolutely. Hey, is this real? Is this legit? And, I'm glad that I did meet you. And, I'm glad that I took that chance, because it's been totally worth it. And, we wouldn't change it. We wouldn't change what we did.
Love it, man. I love it. And just to reflect back on that a little bit, I remember you saying that you were going to be coming up to visit us. And I was like, oh, what? Like, that's awesome. Because first of all, the cool thing about this business is that you get connected at a global level, right? This is a global business. And so really, as long as somebody has a Wi-Fi connection and Facebook or Instagram, they're pretty much a potential customer, or somebody that you can network with. And I mean, we have friends and family all over the world, and this business has really connected to us, to everyone, right? I mean, Stuart and I didn't know each other from a hole in the ground until he reached out to me through a Facebook ad. And he was in Montana, I'm up in Canada, like he was saying, and it's super surreal when you can actually go and meet each other, shake hands, and be like, is this the real deal? But just a little story on that. I remember when Stuart and Delia were coming up from the States to come visit us, and I remember I was so sick. I was so sick that day. I had the worst stomach flu ever, and it was like the day that they were coming up, and I was like, Ashley, like my partner, I was just like, you're going to have to go meet Stuart and Delia on your own, because I couldn't physically get out of bed. And I felt so horrible because you guys drove miles and miles to come up and see us. And I had to flake out, and I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, man, he's probably thinking that I'm skipping out on him, that I'm jumping ship, or I just bailed, but it just couldn't be further from the truth. We ended up making it work the next day. I went for breakfast, and yeah, it was super cool, but just couldn't be. It was just the worst timing ever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do you see yourself in 5 more years, Stuart?
5 more years, I will be out of this truck for sure. It's going to be less than 5 years. And I will actually be able to be at home with my wife, just like I had planned in the beginning when I married her. Being able to go on trips together, just having a peace about life and not wondering where the next meal's supposed to come from and all that. So, yeah, definitely out of the truck. And, along the way, this business is the perfect model. I mean, you help so many people along the way, just like Jordan and Ashley have been helping Dilly and I. It's amazing what you have, what you have sitting in front of you. So
absolutely, absolutely. And just to reflect on that little piece that you said there about kind of learning this skill set that you've picked up here along the way, can you just share a little bit about what you've learned since jumping into this business with us, Stuart?
I think the main thing is copying what people have done before you, the people that have success in life, in anything, whether it's an online business or whether it's owning your own restaurant or whatever the case may be. If that's the success that you want, then you need to mimic what they do. You need to copy what they do. You need to listen to what they're suggesting, because they want to help you succeed. And this this isn't like corporate America where people are climbing over each other to try to get to the top. This is everybody helping everybody. And the people that have been doing this for a long time, or even someone that's been doing it for 3 months longer than you, they already know more than you do. So follow what they know, and you too will see the results. And that's exactly what we've experienced.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I couldn't have said it any better myself. Success leaves clues. It leaves foot tracks, right? So I mean, as long as you're picking up on those clues and following the foot tracks, and really, like you said, leveraging the people who have the results that you want, just duplicate that. So can you just share just like maybe the top 3 skill sets that you've learned since jumping on board? Like just pick 3. I know you've learned a lot along the journey so far, but just probably pick 3 of the most valuable skill sets that you've learned so far.
Well, the most valuable one is duplication. Duplicating what people have done before you that have the success. I would say probably just verbiage. When you're putting an ad together, just being able to relate to people, from all walks of life. So that's probably number 2. Number 3 would be paying attention to what you put in your head, in your brain. There's news and everything all that you get access to every day, and it's all in front of you. So just be careful what you fill your head with. There's all kinds of books that you can read that will help you grow as a person, and being able to read the right books and get the tips from the mentors here in this business to help show you what books you should be reading that are going to help you to grow. So that's
Absolutely.
probably the top 3.
I love it. I love it. They say that success is a mindset, and that's so true, right? I mean, like you could come in here and you could be like the most professional, skilled internet marketer in the world, but if you have a crappy mindset and you're super negative and you're showing up in your business with anxiety and just not a positive mindset and not a solid to have that solid foundation moving into it, you're probably not going to have the success that you're looking for. So I love that, just about kind of working on that mindset. And that's a big focus in this business, getting started moving forward. And we always say, your mindset and your personal development is probably like 80% of this business. The other 20%, like the skills that you're going to learn, like Facebook advertising, learning what pixels are, learning how to target people in a very detailed fashion, like landing pages, sales presentations, webinars. Like we have all that stuff. It's all done for you. But like I said, if you're not showing up with a solid mindset, it doesn't matter, So I love that. I love that. So after applying those skill sets that you've learned and kind of working on yourself and working on your personal development, how soon after starting, Stuart, did you earn your first $1,000 online?
First 1,000 was within the first 2 months, and that was really with not a whole lot of effort. We just plugged into the system. Everything is already laid out for you. All the work is 90% of the work is done for you. You just put in a little bit of the effort, pay attention, read, study the material. It's not difficult. Again, I had no background in online marketing or anything to do with Facebook advertising or anything like that. So just plug in and it's going to work.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. That's so true. I mean, we do have like everything is broken down into like little bite-sized pieces. So the next person coming in, like Stuart here as a truck driver with no background in this space, or me even as a, you know, my background in construction as a pipe fitter, I used to spin wrenches for a living. You know, again, we followed a system that works. We followed the training, but more importantly, we followed the people who had the results and again, just duplicated. So that's the name of the game. And obviously, yeah, like you said, personal development to really help shape and forge yourself to become the person you need to become to be successful. Right. So
Right.
that's great. So just before we wrap up here, Stuart, I would like you to share one tip with everyone watching this right now that you think would benefit them, that are, you know, people that are considering starting this business, or even just a life tip, or you name it. Share one tip.
Oh, one tip, go and either listen to or read The Happy Pocket Full of Money, book by David Duchovny. I can't remember.
Gandhi.
Duchovny, yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of the first things you should do. Whether you get involved in this business or not, that's something you need to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's such a great book. I've read that book twice. I've listened to the audio on it once. It's very powerful, very powerful. You know, it's funny because I used to hate reading, like growing up, going to school, all the way through high school. Because I mean, we were reading crappy books. Like, who wants to read about Macbeth and shit, right? But when you're working on yourself, when you're working on, you know, building yourself, not only, you know, for personal development, but like this, you know, developing new skills and stuff like that. I love reading now because I know it's helping me bridge that gap to get me from where I am to where I want to be. Right.
Right.
So that's awesome, man. Okay. That's all the questions I have for you today, Stuart. Thank you so much for your time and hopping on here with me today. I'll wrap it up just to, because I respect your time, I respect the viewers' time here, but looking forward to our next training that we have together. And we'll talk soon. Bye for now.
All right. Sounds good.